Hello, my name's Sandra. I take the Thursday evening pottery class at Craigroyston High School, and I'm going to demonstrate throwing a cylinder. I was taught that everything came from a cylinder, and that's the way I continue to teach myself. I've got a ball of clay that's about 375 grams. You don't always have to have a big bit of clay. Try and use one that you can handle, and prepared before I go on the wheel. So I've got my water, sponge and a bit chamois, a container to collect any offcuts of clay, a piercing tool here if I come across an air bubble, and another couple of tools that I like to use, a wooden kidney and a rubber kidney. And I have my wire ready to trim off or cut off, and I have a board at the side here ready to put the pot on. So to centre the clay, use both arms, lean on the edge of the wheel, wet the clay. After the wheel is turned, you don't put water on the clay until you've actually wet your hands and put water on the clay that way, after the wheel's turned. So you're centering the piece of clay, push. You can wedge your elbow into your hip. A lot of people use that technique. I can't use it. I try occasionally when I'm having trouble at work, so it does work, but it's just not a habit that I've got into. So you're pushing with your left hand round the pot, fingers to your palm, all the way around the pot. Your pinky is the first point of contact on the wheel, so that has to strengthen up. That if it's not centred from there, you won't centre it anywhere else on the wheel. Just take your time centering it. You can squash the clay, collar it, pull it up, and then push it back down just to get the clay fluid on the wheel. So I'm just going to throw a cylinder, and I'm going to cut it in half, which was the way we were taught as well, to check the walls before you're proficient enough to keep a piece. So it was very frustrating because you were actually quite happy with one, you knew it was perfectly thrown, and it got cut up the middle and you had to do it again. But that's how you learn. So I'm quite happy with that. I've got a slight undercut where my pinky's been, and I use that when I come to pulling the pot up. So from there, still leaning on the edge of the wheel, my middle finger's going to bore down the centre point of the lump of clay. You do this slowly, because you have to touch every part of every revolution of the clay. I'm quite happy with that. From there, I put my middle finger in and I push towards my left palm. Slowly again, because you have to touch every part of every revolution. If your finger gets dry and starts sticking to the clay, get some water in there. I'm not a fast thrower, so bear with me. In fact, these days I'm slower at everything. But it pays off in the end just to take your time.